New policy going forward. You can feel however you want to feel about Harry and Meghan. You can be a fan, you can hate them. But if you want to be able to express that opinion, you need to demonstrate why you have arrived at that conclusion without citing any blatant lies or misdirections by the British press. Because I am so sick of this. I am so sick of the false outrage, the false ignorance. And literally, it goes beyond misrepresenting. It is just misinformation and disinformation. I don't know how many times I can say this, but for all of you who were hooked by me saying, yeah, you can hate Harry and Meghan if you want, I'm serious. Just don't let me catch you basing that hatred on blatant lies from the press. Case in point, example number one. Example number one, Harry and Meghan accused of cashing in on Australia trip. This is from The Times. Harry and Meghan did land in Australia yesterday, give or take a couple hours for time zones. This is a personal, a business, and a philanthropic visit. So they are probably making money at some point. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there because they're not working royals. They are financing their own lifestyle. They are financing their own charity. But I know damn well that over at the Times, they know what a business trip is. Because I am certain that when they send boots on the ground to cover Harry and Meghan, those trips get expensed. If anything, Kate Manzi and her ilk treat Harry and Meghan like an ATM. But that's an argument, okay? That's me getting emotional, right? Let's apply some logic here. This is not good enough if you want to have a negative opinion of Meghan and Harry. Articles like this can no longer be your evidence. They're accused of cashing in on Australia trip. What is the evidence? They're appearing at events where tickets must be purchased. There is no reporting on what profit those events are making, whether Harry and Meghan themselves get a cut of the ticket sales, whether Harry and Meghan are even getting speaker fees. But beyond that, same article, it is not clear how much Harry and Meghan are being paid for their appearances on the trip. They don't even know. But it's good enough that they can say Harry and Meghan are accused of cashing in. Egregious, but not the worst. That crown, of course, goes to the Daily Mail, who, bravo, did not put this article behind a paywall. Other articles this week, including the leaked operational notes giving details of Harry and Meghan's appearances in Australia, were put behind the Daily Mail Plus paywall. This one they want everyone to read because it plays into a very familiar narrative. Taxpayers are going to fund Harry and Meghan's private lives. And specifically, we are talking about security here. Again, a very timely and sadly always relevant topic when it comes to Harry and Meghan because Harry continues to fight for the right to armed police protection while in the UK. Like, again, feel however you want to feel. But the Daily Mail knows that instead of reporting faithfully, they need to be disingenuous here. Otherwise, the argument would never hold water. So, okay, what are we supposed to believe going into this? Taxpayers are going to fund Harry and Meghan's tour, despite insistence that it will be privately funded. They are directly referencing a petition demanding no taxpayer money be spent on Harry and Meghan's tour of Australia. Their spokesperson did say, yeah, that's not going to change anything because nothing was going to be taxpayer funded in the beginning, so I'm not sure what this petition hopes to achieve. Seems like that wasn't good enough for the Daily Mail because apparently they called police forces in Victoria and New South Wales. Seems like a waste of resources to me. They did get confirmation that the police would be running public safety operations this month, April, which happens to also be when Meghan and Harry are in the country. I guess somebody connected the dots there, leading a spokesperson to admit that the New South Wales police force, at least, would be conducting an operation to ensure public safety is maintained during the visit. As I would expect, public safety, kind of the job of the police, which minimizes any disruption to the community. What do you not see in there? Private security, personal protection. That's not said anywhere. Because in general, you can't pay the police to guard you. You cannot pay for personal protection from an active police force. The Mail's own reporting goes on. Police services will be focused on the events in which the public may possibly be involved. Again, I think that's already covered in the police force's budget. Protecting the public, like I would expect a police force at any large public gathering, especially in Australia, be it a concert, a politician visiting, a public figure, a celebrity. And Harry and Meghan transcend many categories of public figure at this point, but I don't think they are demanding special treatment here. I think the police are just gonna be doing their jobs. This article was published in the lead up to the visit, I believe, April 10th. And since then, any corrections to this narrative, this idea that Harry and Meghan are making the taxpayer foot the bill for their own personal protection, it's been buried in things like Harry and Meghan deny using Australia as ATM, leading with something that is inflammatory by design. And if you fall for it, if you feel a certain type of way about Harry and Meghan because of headlines like this, you should be outraged. You are being lied to. You are being manipulated. In this article, again from the Times, Harry and Meghan landed in Melbourne early on Tuesday. Ideas of them cashing in were rejected by their spokesperson, who told the Times, again, the visit was privately funded. Speaking in the street outside a Veterans Museum, he said, "You've only got to look around you. There are no police here. All our security is private." Translation, at some events where the public presence is minimal, they are not employing publicly funded security. All our security is private. And stuff like this really begs the question. It might be a silly question based on who I'm talking about here, the Daily Mail, but do they want people to get hurt? Be it Harry, be it Meghan, be it someone from the public, what would you prefer here? That there is no police presence and something dire were to happen to somebody in the crowd? Again, I know it's a stupid question because you probably would prefer that, because then you can write headlines, why was there no police presence at Harry and Meghan's event? Why did they not reach out to the New South Wales government to ensure a police presence? They can never win. Which is why, if you would like to feel some type of way about Harry and Meghan, insist to me that they will never win because of their own actions, because they are just despicable human beings, you are welcome to do so, but I need you to stop falling for these lies in the process. Occasionally let your brain cells kiss and experience critical thinking, because this is really bad. This is bad. And if you ever wanted a clear-cut example of a manufactured narrative, manufactured outrage, here you go. They are running the headlines despite reality unfolding in a different way.
Have you ever wondered if what you believe is truly the truth, or just how the story was told to you? Think about a headline you've read lately. Was the news itself shocking, or did it just sound that way because of the words used? This is a question we rarely ask ourselves, especially when we're scrolling quickly through our phones. Consider Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Their names have become almost a shortcut for controversy in the media. But are they really as scandalous as the headlines suggest? Or is something else happening? Sometimes we hear the same story so many times it feels like we know everything. But what if each retelling changes the story, even just a little? What if outrage grows not because of the facts, but because of the way the facts are told? Today, let's take a closer look. Let's ask ourselves, is our outrage real, or is it being manufactured for us? It often begins with something small. Meghan wears a dress. Harry makes a comment at an event. These are normal actions, things anyone might do. But when a royal does them, the media takes notice. Suddenly, what would be a normal event becomes headline news. The cycle starts quietly. A journalist notices Meghan's dress is not the same style as other royals. This observation is simple, a plain fact. But soon, the headline reads, "Meghan bucks royal tradition with bold fashion choice." Now, the dress isn't just a dress, it's a statement. Other outlets pick up the story, each retelling adds a bit more. Maybe someone says the dress was inappropriate, or that insiders are shocked. The story grows. What was once a neutral moment is now a supposed scandal. By the end of the day, the internet is buzzing. People talk about Meghan's shocking decision, even if they never saw what she wore in the first place. The cycle is complete. A neutral fact has become a media storm. Words matter. The difference between wore a dress and oddly wore a dress is small, but powerful. That one word, oddly, adds suspicion. Suddenly, readers wonder, was something wrong with the dress? Was she trying to say something? Tabloid writers know this trick well. They use words like suspiciously, unexpectedly, or controversially to make simple actions seem strange or wrong. Harry skipped a meeting becomes Harry suspiciously missed a key royal event. These small changes add up. Each loaded word nudges us in a certain direction. We start to form opinions, often without realizing why. The story feels dramatic, even if nothing dramatic happened. The next time you see a headline, stop and look at the words. Are they neutral, or are they pushing you toward a feeling? This is how language shapes the way we see the world and each other. Once a story is out, it doesn't just stay in one place, it spreads. Other news sites pick it up, each adding their twist. Soon, the same story is everywhere. When you see something repeated so many times, it starts to feel true, just because it's familiar. This is called the repetition effect. It's powerful. Psychologists say we trust things we hear often, even if we never saw the original fact. If every tabloid says Meghan is difficult, people begin to believe it, even if there's no solid proof. It doesn't stop with news articles. Social media users share the stories, adding their comments and outrage. The original fact might be forgotten. What remains is the feeling. Something must be wrong. Everyone says so. This is how a single story can become common knowledge, even if it started with something ordinary. The truth is crowded out by the noise. We are, wired to react to emotions. That's why headlines use words that make us feel angry, shocked, or excited. Emotional stories, well, they spread faster. They stick in our minds longer. When we feel something strongly, we are more likely to share it with others. Tabloids and social media companies, they know this. They use this knowledge to get more clicks, more shares, more attention. A plain story, Meghan attends charity event, won't go viral. But Meghan snubs royal family, a charity event might. Our brains are quick to feel, slower to check facts. We react first, often without stopping to ask, did this really happen the way they say? This is why so many of us believe stories that aren't fully true. It's not just about Meghan and Harry. This works for any public figure. Emotional stories shape how we see people, even if the facts are small or neutral. It's important to remember that not all criticism is unfair. Sometimes public figures do make mistakes. It's okay to point these out. But there's a line between fair criticism and outrage that is manufactured just for clicks and attention. Fair criticism is about facts. It looks at what happened and asks questions. Manufactured outrage is different. It starts with an interpretation, then repeats it until it seems true. The goal isn't understanding, but stirring up emotion. With Meghan and Harry, this line is crossed often. Wearing a different colour, holding hands or speaking out on an issue, these become reasons for outrage, even if they are normal actions for anyone else. The media frames these as betrayals or scandals. Knowing the difference matters. It helps us judge stories more fairly and stops us from joining in on outrage that was never real. Why do we believe these repeated emotional stories? Part of it is habit. Our brains like shortcuts. If we hear something often, it feels safe to believe it. This is called cognitive ease. It's easier to go with the flow than to pause and check. Another reason is that we want to fit in. If everyone around us is talking about Meghan and Harry being difficult, we don't want to be the only one who disagrees. We join in, sometimes without thinking about the facts. Social media makes this even stronger. We see what our friends share, what's trending, what gets the most likes. The more we see a story, the more normal it feels, even if it started as gossip or exaggeration. Being aware of these patterns is the first step to breaking them. We don't have to believe everything just because it's familiar. Take a moment before you react to a headline. Who is telling the story? What do they want you to feel? Are they using loaded words or just stating the facts? Asking these questions can help you see past the outrage machine. It's easy to get swept up in the flow. Outrage is contagious, but if you pause, you might notice that the story is more about interpretation than facts. Maybe Meghan didn't snub anyone. Maybe Harry didn't do anything suspicious. Maybe it's just the way it was written. Look for the original source. What really happened? Was it as dramatic as the headlines claim? Often you'll find the answer is much simpler and much less scandalous. By pausing and asking questions, you can avoid being a part of the false outrage machine. You can choose what to believe for yourself. Now, think back to the last big Meghan and Harry story you heard. Do you remember the actual fact or just the feeling it gave you? Are your beliefs based on what really happened or on how it was told to you? It's easy to get caught in the wave of public opinion. But your beliefs are yours. You can choose to look deeper, to check the facts, to ask questions. You don't have to accept every headline at face value. Next time you see a story that makes you angry or shocked, stop. Ask yourself, is this the original fact, or is it someone's interpretation? Who benefits when you feel outrage? You're in control of what you believe. Don't let the outrage machine make up your mind for you.